how can you make a movie about just like one chef and you don't have like a host and like he's going to be talking about himself and it's foreign language. And I believe that people would want to watch it because I wanted to watch it.
So did you self-produce it? Like, did you
entirely?
And it was
I self-funded the first half. I went out there with the camera. I was the cinematographer. I was the sound guy. I literally did everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
I had a bunch of Velcro on the camera, and I was just attached the various modules that were necessary. And I figured out, like I could shoot with these very high-speed lenses, meaning that I took a lot of cinematography in film school, and I kind of like spent a lot of time on movie sets as a behind-the-scenes shooter. I spent a lot of time editing. I kind of learned all the different departments and was able to cobble together a system
That's insane, dude.
Could be done by one person, but with a lot of duress and challenge.
Yeah.
And somehow made it work. But then there are moments of extreme doubt where I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna? Like, I'm watching this footage and I'm like, I don't even understand. Like, I have to go get this translated. Like, I don't even know if he's answering the question or not. Because I don't have time for my translator to I don't want to break the flow.
Yeah, you got to just keep going.
Yeah, and just keep going. And it was like terrifying. But then there was a moment where I started just like putting the images together and I finally got some stuff translated and I was like, oh, this is working. And I really just believed in it. And the movie didn't even get picked up. Like 3 or 4 festivals in, nobody wanted the movie. They were like, oh, this is good, but nobody will ever watch a foreign language documentary. Never. And it was actually Tom Quinn who started Neon. Neon is the it's the studio that just came out with Anora, and he did Parasite. He's like
He takes some risks.
He takes risks, and he goes big on those risks. And so he bought the movie and brought it to theaters, and then later it found a window on Netflix, and that led to Chef's Table. And then I was able to work with a larger crew and with some more resources, and with the confidence that it would work. I could make a Jiro style movie with other chefs, but of course Netflix was the only people that would take the pitch.
So was it always intended that you were just going to produce it yourself, or were you trying to pitch it prior?
I was always going to produce it myself. I didn't know I was going to have to fund. I didn't know I was.
That's sort of what I meant.
Look, no, it's very risky. The whole thing was fraught with risk.
Yeah.
Because first off, self-funding a project without knowing if you have the finishing funds and there was no guarantee of anything. I just went in there only able to film the first half of the movie, hoping that maybe I could cobble this together into a feature, which I realized I couldn't. It was only after watching all of the material that I figure out what the actual story was, which is like a father-son story. It's about a dynasty, and the stakes being, can Yoshikazu being Jiro's son, can he fill the shoes of his father? And so I knew I had to go back. And at that point, I was able to cut a reel together. And then there were some people that finally, kind of started to understand what we were doing.
Yeah, that was when you said yesterday at the Q&A. I was so impressed that you were like, yeah, I went out there by myself and shot the movie kind of by myself.
It was completely on a whim and a belief.
And this was just straight up just passion of I'm going to make this movie. There's nothing that's going to fucking stop me.
I just knew that I could. I knew, and I was shooting little tests, and I was like, I want to watch this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I think it's just Jiro's character. When I really dove into the character story, not so much just the information about sushi, and that became the thesis of Chef's Table, which is it's not about how they cook as much as it is why they cook.
Yeah.
And it's more about the stories behind the dishes than, the instructional element of it, which is not really what we're doing.
That's,
yeah. So
it's
lucky.
It's lucky, but I don't know that it's lucky. I think that it's and that's the topic that we always cover on the show is perseverance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If you just sort of if you had approached this as I have this idea and I'll get it done, versus there's no way I'm going to I'm not giving up on this. If I've got to self-fund it, if I've got to fly out there, if I've got to do it myself, if I've got to I don't even have enough money to make it, but it's not going to stop me. I'm going to go because I just have the faith that it will happen. Is just sort of that's what this whole podcast is about.
Yeah.
And one of the major reasons we wanted to sit down with you.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, how did you find Jiro and why did you choose him of all of the chefs in Japan?
I thought that I might make it about a few different chefs and like kind of show the contrasts of sushi and different kind of stories of sushi, which kind of would have been like a mini chef's table in a way with vignettes of different chefs. But it was Daniel Boulud that turned me on, you know, the 3-star Michelin chef in New York, incredible French chef who's like brought kind of like the Lyon style French food to, like, to the masses. He was a friend of my dad's. My dad runs the Metropolitan Opera. Boulud has a couple restaurants outside, and so I had the privilege of being able to sit with him. And he told me that I told him about the project, and he said that Jiro is the guy. He's like, he's the guy. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And if Daniel says that he's the guy, then he must be the guy.
The guy, yeah.
And so I got in touch. My dad's translator for when he goes to Japan connected me with Masahiro Yamamoto, who is the food critic that kind of is the narrator of the thing.
Yeah.
And he managed to get me in there and helped convince Jiro to do it. But what Jiro said was that he would only do it if it was only about him and there were no other sushi chefs in the movie. And that turned out to be like the best note.
Yeah.
Because then it had to become this kind of personal journey. And so just through the circumstance, I had to find the way, and it became like the right way.
Wow.
And that was terrifying and exciting.
And you almost went in without knowing what it was really going to be about until you filmed half of it and like
no,
watched
it was totally,
it.
I mean, it's crazy, and I would never advise anybody to do that.
I love that.
But now that you actually, because I could have, like, if I had today's technology, even though the technology was accessible, it was still like very expensive. And also, it's like at that time, I got to go to film school, and I got to train with like ASC cinematographers, like major people that taught me how to shoot, and so I was very lucky. But with an iPhone today, I think that anybody can, if you find a great story, like the technology barrier is getting lower and lower and lower. And all you need is like, it doesn't even have to be an iPhone, like a smartphone, you can make a thing.
Yeah.
And if you find a great character. And so he was just the guy. And it was like this real, if you build it, they will come thing, which I think is such a Field of Dreams, is such a crazy, insane movie. But the message of it, where it's like, you don't need to know. It's okay to have doubt. It's like you just know that you're doing something that feels right. And then they showed up. And when I say lucky, I'm lucky that what I like and that my taste happens to be shared by other people also.
It is, but like you also created.
I really made it for myself, not for an audience.
Well, that's the thing. But you made it for yourself because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
It's not like you just made another slasher film or made another car chase. Like you made something that kind of was a void. I mean, obviously there's documentaries, but like you filled a void in your heart that you wanted to be there. And that's what I think great art is, you know? And where people, and it's all, I mean, yes, it's lucky that it resonated with people, but I think it resonated with people because it came from your heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think that's right. I think that the best work comes when you're making it for yourself.
And you're young enough to still be stupid and
and
take
big risks. And, you know, I didn't have a family. I could just like disappear to Japan. And so I had that kind of, that momentum. I could bring that into Chef's Table because now I was making the kind of food show that I would want to watch. And I imagine that when you guys are making your restaurants, you're making the burger place you want to make. You're making like the restaurants that you would want to eat at.
Definitely.
And that's why people like them, is because it's sincere and it's not like pandering. It's like, it's just a genuine expression of what you're into.